Don't do Disney
without us.
My name is Daniel.
And my name is Zach.
And welcome back to our show. Had a little trials and tribulations there that we just went through. This is a little show we like to do all about Disney. We like to talk about the theme parks, Disney Plus, Disney movies, Disney snacks, Disney
pins, everything but the sports because,
Because we don't do sports. Anyway, that's not true. I am now an elite athlete because I am training to run in the Disney 10K, the springtime surprise, on April 15th. The Monsters Inc. 10K. That makes me an elite athlete. And if you're catching a look at me and you're like going, oh my God, if you're watching this on video, and then you're catching a look at me and you're going like, wow, it looks like someone punched him in the face. It's because I got into an argument about Universal Studios and someone punched me. No, I was out training for my running this morning and I tripped on a piece of sidewalk and I planted into the asphalt, caught it in my face and my knees and my arm. So yeah, dangerous sport.
Came in from his run and I went downstairs and he's all bloodied. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell happened?
Yeah, it's a dangerous sport. Running is a dangerous sport. Just a public service announcement. If you're going to park your car in your driveway, please don't block the sidewalk. Some of us who run on sidewalks have to then go around your car, which is what caused me to trip and whatnot. Anyway, it's not important. We are going to talk, we teased about this last week in our show. We're going to talk this week about planning for a Disney vacation.
Because we've had to plan for not one, but 2 Disney vacations. And guess what? Planning for a Disney vacation isn't something we normally have to do.
Yeah, we are annual pass holders. We live about an hour away from Walt Disney World. So our normal planning routine comes down to, did we get a reservation for Citrico's and we want to go to dinner there? Okay, let's do that on a Tuesday, right? It's like we almost never do rope drop to fireworks or anything along those lines. We really just kind of take everything very casually because we don't have to worry too much about the cost of a ticket, right? We have an annual pass, so we can go whenever there's a reservation available, which despite what the internet would lead you to believe, most days you can get a reservation at Disney with no problem.
And lest we forget, starting April 18th, I think.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Annual pass holders can go to Disney parks on every day except Saturdays and Sundays at Magic Kingdom after 2 p.m. without a reservation anyway.
True.
So
we don't normally spend a lot of time doing a lot of Disney planning, is what I'm trying to say. But in this case, coming up very soon here within the next week, and then a month after that, we have 2 Disney events that we did have to do a significant amount of planning for. So the first one that we're going to talk about is Disneyland. We are going to be going next week to Disneyland, to both the Magic Kingdom and to Disney's California Adventure. This is the kickoff of our bucket list item. So I shouldn't say our. I know it's my bucket list. My bucket list item.
It's also my bucket list.
We would like to go to every Disney park on the planet. That's what I would like to do. I've already been to California. Zach's already been to California, but I figure it's a good place to start.
The last time we were in California was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Lots of things were different.
Mm-hmm.
I had not yet moved to Florida and become as much of a Disney person as I am now. And I was overwhelmed with everything that was going on. So
yeah. And you didn't have a lot to compare to. You hadn't been to the Florida
I hadn't been to Florida since 1995. So I had no memory of the Florida parks.
So we're starting off there. So we're going out to California to do Disneyland and California Adventure, as I said. So the very first thing we did, because we are not natives to California, is we decided to use a Disney travel agent. So a friend of ours, Sean, who from Sean Ranks the Mouse, works for a travel agency. We've been on his podcast before. So we called up Sean and we're like, hey, we would like to go to Disney. Can you hand me that iPad right there?
I can.
Let's see if we can do that without knocking everything over. So I had never used a Disney. So the only travel agents I've ever used before have been for cruise lines, right? So I've used cruise travel agents, and we had varying experiences with cruise line. I don't think we've ever had a good one. Have we ever had a good cruise? We've used 3 now.
Did you not like the people we used for our Holland America cruise?
They were okay, but it was nothing special. It was just like they were okay because they weren't as horrible as the other two, right? So we used Dreams Unlimited for our Disney cruise, which was awful.
Oh God.
We had an awful experience with Dreams Unlimited. That's our own personal opinion. It's whatever. The second one that we used was somebody in California, or no, they're in Miami. But we used that for our Royal Caribbean cruise, and
it wasn't great either.
Yeah, wasn't great because they deal with luxury cruises and stuff, and so they didn't want to mess around with us. Anyway, so we talked to Sean. I don't need to dog anybody here. We talked to Sean. What's the name of his travel agency?
Magic Family Getaways.
MagicFamilyGetaways.com, I think. Anyway, they sent us back. If you're watching on video, you can see this here. I'll put an overlay of it on the screen. But he sent us back this nice grid of hotel options. So hotel and ticket options that we could go for our trip. So we told him the days we wanted to go. And so we have comparisons here between the Hotel Lulu, the Courtyard by Marriott, the Castle Inns and Suite, the Hilton Anaheim, Residence Inn, Sheridan Park, and then Disney's Paradise Pier, right? So these are...
And Tropicana. So these are all different price points of hotels around Disneyland for a 2-day trip. We are looking at, on the high end for the Disney hotel was going to be $2,600 for two. And on the low end, I think it was going to be 12 something. It's kind of really close between these two 12. So Sheridan was $1,271 on the low end. That's the one we went with.
So one that we went with, but we've stayed at the Sheridan Park before. And I think it's a great hotel. It's kind of on at least one side of the hotel, you're overlooking the backside of the kingdom. So it's within walking distance of the kingdom. It's right next to the Anaheim Convention Center. So it's a great place. We've been there before. So I was impressed that, we got this is a whole list. It was kind of broken down, and here's what your tickets cost. Here's what your hotel cost. So this is tickets and hotels. Anything else?
The Paradise Pier Hotel, we were never seriously considering a Disney hotel because Disney hotels are just so obscenely expensive. He really just threw that on there to be like, and this is what Disney wants to charge you.
But this is for hotel and tickets, right? Nothing else.
Yes. Hotel
tickets,
2 days of park tickets with Genie Plus, but not Park Hopper.
Genie Plus. Okay. That is included in there. Yeah. And we decided not to do a Park Hopper, which we'll talk about in a second. So, all right. So we got our hotel, we got our tickets, all that's taken care of. And so then what we decided to do was to figure out what our priorities are. So we knew absolutely that we wanted to go to the Disney California Food and Wine Festival.
Because we've never been.
Never been. So Food and Wine Festival sounded awesome. The new nighttime shows for the 100th anniversary, both the ones at the Kingdom and the new World of Color 100th anniversary, as well as the new Magic Happens parade.
Fingers crossed that weather does not cancel any or all of these things, because that is a thing that happens a lot in California.
And then there's some attractions that they have there that we don't have here in Florida that we would like to do. Haunted Mansion is different over there. They're Pirates of the Caribbean.
More specifically, the only time I have ever been to Disneyland was during the holiday season. So I have never seen the California Haunted Mansion without the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay.
Yeah. That is recording, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. This would be a bad time for the camera to not be there. Anyway, so attractions, that is another thing on our priority list. And then there's the things that we didn't prioritize. So we didn't prioritize sit-down dining because we have found that Disney sit-down dining is a very long, involved process.
Disney sit-down dining will take at least an hour, if not 2, of your day.
Oh, I was going to say at least 2 hours, if not 3 of your day. If you go to a fancy, we've eaten, the last time we were there, we ate at the Blue Bayou and at Carthay Circle. And both of those took 2 hours they're just not fast. And there's nothing wrong with the food, nothing wrong with the atmosphere. It was very nice and everything, but we decided that we really just didn't want to spend 2 hours sitting in a restaurant because we live in Central Florida and we can go to great restaurants all the time.
Right.
So that just wasn't a big priority for us. The other thing that we decided not to prioritize was Park Hopper. We decided, you know what, the parks are right next to each other, but we would like to spend a whole day at Disneyland. We'd like to spend a whole day at California Adventure doing the food and wine stuff. So I just feel like there was no need to add on the park hopper. What was it? Park hopper? Like another
120.
Yeah, 120. So $60 a day for the park hopper.
The park hopper.
The park hopper. So we just decided not to do that. So there you go. So that's basically what we did. We're going to Disneyland and Disney California Adventure, pretty much just deciding we're going to eat counter service and at the food and wine booths.
If a reservation happens to open up at Napa Rose while we're there, maybe we'll go, but that's...
Yeah, but that would be... We're also there other evenings that we could go to that restaurant, other than the 2 park days. We're staying for 4 days in California. So we're doing Disneyland, Disney California Adventure, but then we're going up to the Simi Valley area to visit the San Fernando Valley area to visit friends of ours up there. And on that day, we may or may not do Universal Studio Hollywood. That's totally up to Zach as to whether we go and do that or not.
Maybe, probably.
This is as close to an answer as I ever get. Anyway, so that's it on our California trip. Anything you want to add planning wise? I feel like that is the least stressful. I get stressed when I see people planning their vacations down to the millisecond.
No, and I never want to be on a vacation that is that planned, because that's not a vacation, that's work.
Yeah, I even sometimes on the cruises that we've taken have really just been annoyed with shore excursions. It's like, what do you mean I got to get up at 8:00 and be in the theater to go meet a bus outside? It's like, I'm on vacation, let me sleep, kind of a thing. So we're those people, right? We're kind of go with the flow people, and this seemed to be the best that we could do. Now, I know that a lot of people do a lot of serious planning around Disney.
We're just not those people.
There. The second event that we needed to plan for is for the Walt Disney World Race Weekend, the Springtime Surprise Race Weekend, because we have friends coming down to visit. They're going to be here for 4 days, no, five days, 4 nights. So from Wednesday through Sunday of the race weekend. And in this case, we did need to plan things for Walt Disney World. And the way we did this was the same thing. Let's prioritize what are the things that Adam and Mark are going to care about. They're not Disney fans. They're not us, right? They don't live an
hour from Disney and go whenever the hell they feel like it.
Yeah, they're not going to get all excited about going through Fantasyland and seeing how similar they are between California and Florida and which things are missing. And in Florida, when we go around the corner, something else is there. But here it's cool. And this is different. All those little things that Disney fans love to do, they don't care about that. They really are interested in doing the big ticket attractions, Rise of the Resistance, Guardians.
TRON, if we can get it.
TRON and what's the other one? Oh, Pandora, Flight of Passage.
Flight of Passage.
But, we'll also do the safari, all the big ticket things. We're not going to do, every single attraction, every single park. They're also, adults like us. They're they're into food. So we concentrated a lot on picking out really good restaurants. Like of the 100+ restaurants on Disney property, what are the ones, we've got 3 dinners that we can go to at Disney. What are the 3 restaurants that we chose?
We chose Citrico's
at the Grand Floridian.
Halejo
at Disney Springs.
And Yachtsman Steakhouse.
And the Yachtsman Steakhouse at the Yacht Club. But
we originally wanted Space 220, but Space 220 reservations do not exist.
They don't. We got up at 6 a.m. 60 days before these dates and refreshed at 6 a.m. Like
I was on the Walt Disney World app, refreshed
at 6 a.m.
At 6 a.m. Not a single Space 220 reservation.
And I don't understand.
Not lunch, not dinner, not the lounge, nothing.
And I really don't understand how that happens, because at the very least, it should be on our screen. And then if we pick a time...
There should be times available. And then if they fill up, which they will, because those reservations go like hotcakes.
Right. But they can't go in a second. No one could physically click
it was literally like a second. Disney IT is just terrible, period.
I don't know what it is. If someone knows the secret to the Space 220, like, do we have to call? Like, are those reservations... Like, Like if I call into Disney Dining at like 2 a.m., do I get to make my reservations then? And I'm just being a sucker waiting for the 6 a.m. refresh?
I have alerts set up on mousedining.com, and apparently Two Ring Plans also does this, that if there's a Space 220 reservation, it sends me an email. But the problem is by the time I see that email and go to the reservation, it's gone.
Yeah. Because
they do exist. They just apparently didn't exist at 6 a.m. 60 days out.
But you're not understanding my concern with this.
Okay.
I'm a software engineer. From a system level, there should be reservations sent out to everyone who's on when the system opens. Now, whether I click on it and can get it, that's a completely different story, and I get that I'm competing with 100,000 other people. I get that, but it should at least be on my screen,
right?
Because
and it wasn't.
There's no possible way for someone to be able to click and get that reservation within the 3 seconds that it took for my screen to redraw. It's less than 3 seconds for my screen to redraw. So I'm confused. I really don't know. If anyone knows the answer, please let me know. I don't understand how that happens. Anyway, now I've gotten off on a tangent. And I truly apologize.
We also had, once we found out that Space 220 reservations are a myth, we had a reservation at Le Cellier.
Yeah.
But we switched that to Yachtsman. Why did we switch that to Yachtsman?
Because we wanted to get to our second thing here that we wanted to prioritize, which are nighttime shows. So there's 2 nighttime shows that we wanted them to see. The Return of Happily Ever After at the Kingdom and Fantasmic at Hollywood Studios. And so on our Saturday that we have our Yachtsman reservations, we're at Hollywood Studios and
Animal Kingdom.
So we're starting at Animal Kingdom and we end up over at Hollywood Studios. And Yachtsman Steakhouse is within walking distance of Hollywood Studios.
Right.
I mean, or you could take a boat, but
a very slow boat.
But it is a late reservation, so that way we can see Fantasmic and then go to dinner. The same with Citrico's. We have the Citrico's reservation at like 9.
No.
Or do we have it earlier? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The point is, we're trying to work around the Happily Ever After fireworks so that we can see the fireworks and have dinner, or have dinner and then see the fireworks. So those are the things that we prioritize there. And that's why we went with Yachtsman, because it was an easy. Adam doesn't like fish, so Flying Fish was out, and then Le Cellier would be at Epcot, and it's a pain to get from Studios to Epcot, and Epcot would be closed by that point anyway.
I mean, it's a Skyliner ride or a walk.
Okay, great. You know as well as I do that you cannot go from a 7 p.m. Le Cellier reservation to actually make it and sit for Fantasmic.
No.
For the show. That's just it.
No. Because as we discussed during our California segment, Disney restaurants are slow.
Not only Disney restaurants slow, but Walt Disney World is an enormous place. And yeah, sure, it's just a Skyliner ride between Hollywood Studios and Epcot. That's what most people will tell you. But most people won't tell you there's a layover. You have to stop at Caribbean Beach and then switch to another line to get to the other one. And if it's windy or inclement and the Skyliners are down, then you're going to be on a bus. And then you got to get to the, it's a thing. I don't need the stress. All right. So we prioritized food. We prioritized nighttime shows and major attractions. Those were the things that we prioritized. Also, we're going at a very adult pace here. So we're not trying to do every single thing in record time or log 1,900 steps a day going.
1,900?
19,000 steps a day going from, park to park to park. And in the middle of all that, I am running a 10K. So that's got to be factored in there as well. So, and there's race weekend things that are going on, right? So, I've got to go to the expo and get race weekend things. And although Adam will be going with us to the theme parks on on Thursday and Friday, his partner, Mark, is going to be working from the hotel room during the day, and then
so he will be joining us in the evenings.
Right. So you have to kind of plan around that. But I think it's going to be a very enjoyable 4 days.
The last time we did anything resembling a rope drop to fireworks day, I was just exhausted by the end of it. Yeah. Those days are long and they're hard on your feet, and no.
The other thing that we decided to do at Walt Disney World is to stay off-site. So we are staying just right off-site, right outside of Disney Springs at the Sheraton Vistana Resort, which we've stayed at before, which these are basically, they used to be, maybe they still are.
I think they're timeshares.
Yeah, but they also rent them out as
hotel
rooms. These are basically 2-bedroom apartments, 2-bedroom, fully furnished, kitchen, balcony, washer and dryer, everything that you would want in a 2 bathrooms, 2 bedrooms. And we got that for 5 days, 4 nights for $1,000.
Yep. A little over $1,000.
Which you couldn't touch that on Disney property.
And that right there, the cost is the big reason we're not staying on property.
Yeah.
I wanted to give them the full Disney experience, stay at an on-property hotel. And at the time, our AP discount was only like 20 or 25%. Mm-hmm. But even with the discount, the room rates were just outrageous.
Yeah, and those Disney rooms are for 2. We had 4 people. So whatever the expensive Disney rooms were that we were looking at, we were going to have to get 2 of them, right? So
I think some of them can sleep 4, just not.
But we're 2 adult couples that want our privacy and everything. Having 2 bedrooms with their own bathrooms, right, within a large apartment is much better than, there's a pull-out couch. There's also a bed, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's what we've done. Did we answer anything? No. So the other thing that we did is we are getting a park hopper for Mark and Adam, because in the wild world of ticketing prices, a 3-day ticket with a park hopper option is cheaper than getting 2 one-day tickets and then a 1-day ticket with a park hopper.
Yes. Because Disney, especially since Disney just instituted that new pricing for 1-day tickets, because they don't want you buying 1-day tickets. They want you buying more than 1-day tickets.
So that is it. So that is our Disney planning. I don't know if that helped anyone. Like, I know a friend of mine was like, I can't wait till you guys talk about planning because I need to plan a trip. I guess if we had any tips for planning for these things is do what we did. Figure out what the priorities of the group that you're going with are.
Because every person and every couple and every family travels differently.
They do.
And no 2 Disney vacations are ever going to be the same.
And I know that there's a lot of emphasis online about Genie Plus and, ADRs, which are advanced dining reservations, those kind of things. And people sweat and they get very angry if they don't, very disappointed if they don't get the reservations that they're looking for and everything. But decide up front, is this something that is important to your party? Is eating at Beauty and the Beast at the Magic Kingdom, right? Giving up 2 hours of your vacation to eat inside the Beauty and the Beast at the Magic Kingdom, is that something that's really worth it to you, right? Because the thing about eating inside the theme parks at those restaurants is that those theme parks have hours, right? It's like what we're doing with Yachtsman Steakhouse, we can extend our day, right, by eating after we're done with the park on the last day.
Right. And that's probably the last seating of the day.
Yeah.
But
even if you go up a little further, right outside of Disney property, there are places that are open even later. Bahama Breeze is a great restaurant that's open later. It's not a 5-star restaurant, but it's a nice restaurant. There are some other, Morton Steakhouses up there. There's a lot of places that are open later after Disney.
And even the restaurants at Disney Springs, I think, do some later seatings than that.
Haleho is open late. Morimoto's is open late. STK is open late, but don't eat.
Please don't eat there.
Don't eat there. Anyway, let's see. So far we've trashed Dreams Unlimited and STK. Anybody else that we want to?
Look, our STK bill was almost $300, and that was
it wasn't bad food. It just wasn't.
It was not worth it.
It wasn't $300 food. All right. So any tips that we can give here on planning? I think that's it. Just know what your party wants.
Decide what is important to you and plan around that. And if you have a bunch of personalities that clash, try and find a middle ground. If not, I can't help you there. Yeah. That's your family you have to wrangle.
And there are things like Rise of the Resistance. If you were listening to the internet, Rise of the Resistance can only be ridden if you are willing to wake up at 7 a.m. and get yourself, an individual lightning lane ticket for it, or that you show up at Rope Drop at Hollywood Studios and immediately, head back towards Rise of the Resistance. The reality of it is if you're willing to wait 90 minutes, you can ride Rise of the Resistance at any point during the day. So just factor that into your day.
Right.
It's like, okay, we're going to wait in line for an hour and a half. We're going to we'll bring a little phone game or something that we can play while we're in line.
And Rise has a decently cool queue.
Oh yeah, Disney queues are some of the best. So
some of them.
Name one that isn't. Don't say Tron because it wasn't done.
I was gonna say Tron, but it wasn't done.
Yes. I'm waiting. Oh, that's a good example. Haunted Mansion queue is actually pretty boring. Okay.
Well, yes, because the entire queue is outdoors.
Right. But then again, the Haunted Mansion is an original attraction, so cut them some slack. They redid the Peter Pan queue. Maybe they'll redo the
Haunted Mansion queue.
Anyway, let's start a rumor. that they're going to. I think now that we've talked all over the place, I hope getting some insight into how we're planning helps you with your planning. We're certainly more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. Just leave a question, leave a comment on the video. And, if you have a specific question or something you wish we would have covered, we can always cover it in a future show.
Yes. So. Or reach out to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Let's go to our heroes and villains of the week. This week, I don't remember. Did we start with the heroes or villains last week? I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm just going to start with heroes because that's great. My hero of the week is the Wine and Dine race. Information came out. We can sign up for the Disney Wine and Dine Marathon Weekend, which is in November, starting a little bit later in March.
And by a little bit later, he means next Tuesday when we're in the air over some state.
They have Wi-Fi on the planes.
Yes, we're gonna have to buy in-flight Wi-Fi to sign up for the race.
But the thing that was awesome, the thing that makes it the hero of the week, is that there was a hint that the medal for the challenge race might be Figment.
Yes.
Which means I might have to train enough to run both a 10K and a half marathon so I can get that Figment medal. I don't know. We'll see.
I was very upset because I'm planning on running the 10K, but there's no way I'm going to be able to train to run for a 10K and a half in 8 months just starting right now. So
you can still buy the t-shirt.
But I didn't do the race.
They don't require you to prove that you ran the race to buy the t-shirt.
I would feel bad.
You can get the little pin. Like they make pin copies of the medals, right? So you can buy the Figment pin the Figment medal as a pin.
Maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, Wine and Dine, that was my hero of the week. Who's your hero of the week?
My hero of the week is also Disney merchandise related.
Yes.
Because Disney put out a preview of the TRON merchandise. They're having a media event tonight as we're recording this, and I just saw someone posted pictures of the merchandise in the shop. There's a really cool jacket that looks like it lights up. I thought it was leather or pleather, but it's not. It's like some kind of like hoodie material, I think. Oh. And there's some t-shirts that I'm not sold on yet that are really big on the 1980s aesthetic with like bold colors and things. And Disney hits and misses a lot with their merchandise collections. So I was happy to see that the TRON merchandise was more of a hit than a miss.
Okay. So you weren't sold on them because they're not for sale yet?
Well, no,
that was a dad joke. I was trying to. Anyway, my villain of the week, moving on. My villain of the week are people who park on sidewalks.
Yes, it's technically against the covenants of our HOA to block the sidewalk with your car. In fact, when Daniel's nephew came to see our house shortly after we bought it and got into a car wreck, he parked in our driveway and blocked the sidewalk for all of like 20 minutes. And some busybody with an HOA like ticket book came by and wrote him an HOA ticket because he blocked the sidewalk. And yet,
I run that
almost kill yourself.
I run 3 days a week and there's a lot of cars that park on the sidewalk. Just to keep that in mind. It's not just people that are out running. There's people that have strollers, people that want to walk. And if you're blocking the sidewalk, then
I have to walk in your yard.
Yeah. Anyway, that was my villain of the week. Who's your villain of the week?
So Disney put out the trailer for the big long official trailer for The Little Mermaid.
Okay.
And it was great and wonderful, and I can't wait to see the movie on streaming because you won't catch us in a theater probably ever again. Except I'm not sold on the visual effects for Flounder and Scuttle and Sebastian. I realize that they are making them look more true to life because I know what live action means. But Flounder just looks dull to me.
I mean, let's be honest. A flounder doesn't look anything like flounder. Like a flounder is a fish that lays on the bottom that has two eyes on top of its head and it doesn't swim like... It's like, I believe flounder in the new Little Mermaid movie is actually a golden angelfish. So,
but other than that, the trailer was great, but some of the VFX looks a little choppy.
You know what? I feel like a lot of people say this about a lot of trailers, and anytime you're dealing with an effect-heavy film, it may be that the effects aren't fully rendered yet, and they might not be.
That is also very true. They may not be done.
There was a lot of people that really were dogging She-Hulk because they thought that She-Hulk looked horrible in the trailers that they were seeing at Comic-Con and stuff, and then when the final product hit Disney Plus, it looked great. So your mileage may vary.
My villain is tentative pending release of the final film.
There you go. Hey, if you are watching us on YouTube, you should know we also come out as a podcast. You can find us anywhere where great podcasts are served, be that iTunes or Google or anything.
I thought you were going to say great podcasts are sold. I'm like, yes. Well, that's also, there are some podcasts you can pay for, but
that's true. But you don't have to pay for this one.
No, we are completely free.
Yeah, you can get that podcast for free. So if you want to listen to us in your car while you're working or vacuuming or mowing the yard, whatever, everything like that.
Make sure running and hopefully not tripping because someone parked on the sidewalk.
What do you say? You tripped. And if you're listening to our podcast, hey, guess what? If you are sitting at home or, or somewhere else where you're stationary and you want to watch the video version of this, just head over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/WDW Aristocrafts, and you'll find the podcast there. Also on Spotify. It is in video format on Spotify if you go there. So there you go. All that is left for me to say is, a couple of things. First of all, if you want to leave us a comment on the videos or send us an email, you can do so. don'tdodisney@gmail.com. You can leave us a message on Twitter. You can leave us a message on, a comment on these videos. Where else? On Instagram. We have a TikTok.
We do have a TikTok, and I'm just need to pull the things out and try and do a video. If we do TikToks, they're probably going to suck for a while I'm figuring out how to use TikTok.
TikTok is, I feel like what we should do on the TikTok is just do little clips of this show.
And other things.
I know, but doing little clips of this show will get your feet wet on TikTok, because then the content's already done. You're just cutting it up. Anyway, it's not important. What is important is that you please don't do Disney
without us.